Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. There will be strong language and adult themes.
You're damn right. Very strong
language.
You know, sorry,
my
go
words
ahead.
could pick up a car.
Damn right.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I do the same thing.
I forgot to mute my TV.
I do
and
this.
YouTube finally caught up with us.
Yep. Well, it won't let me mute it until it's actually started playing, so there's always a couple of seconds of overlap there.
Hey, Stool. Hop in, Stool. Now, that's a sentence I never thought I'd be saying in my life.
Hop in, Stool.
So
Hop in, pop in.
let's see in the side chat. So far, Stool and Greg Hartwick are the only ones I'm seeing.
Last week, at the Eagle Watch area, we had a 74 eagle day.
Yeah, I saw you putting that on Twitter. I've never seen them congregate in large groups like that.
Yep, and I counted them. It was like, God damn, look at that.
Yeah, I always thought it was strange to see like 5 of them together.
Are they? Do they travel in packs?
No, I think they pretty much migrate individually.
Yeah, well,
but they all take the same flyway, and so they end up resting over in the same places because they know them.
Yeah, well, and they probably follow the river for their migration. Hey, Stool.
The seat of consciousness itself.
So, today is James Madison's birthday.
Happy birthday, Jimmy.
Yep.
So does that mean
How old is he today? How many spankings?
I don't remember what year he started.
It'd be like 250 at least.
Yeah, exactly. Doc, I know what era you're from.
Yeah, but without James Madison, we probably would not have the Bill of Rights. So he's responsible for all those things that the sub-citizens go on about and such.
Well, then why didn't he name it the James of Rights?
He should have added a couple more lines to make it more detailed.
Well, he should have taken credit for his work.
The government gives them to you, but you have to pay for them.
And he's responsible for an entire line of mixed race people that continue to this day.
Well,
I think
Jenny,
most of the
to be
founding
fair,
fathers are.
yeah, exactly. One of the biggest lies in American history is our history and our demographics. That's a fight for a different day. How are you, Stool? Man, we're like, 5 minutes in and I already said demographics. Oof. This one's going to be a barn burner today.
So how's the weather in London there?
Oh, I'm not actually in London. Just realised there's an echo in this room. That's weird.
He's by the tunnel.
Yeah. This is the first time I've ever spoken in this room. How weird.
Could you speak a little louder?
Oh, no. Okay.
Well, then get your microphone closer.
Oh, you're so bossy. Shut up.
Yes, I am.
You're as quiet as a titmouse.
And about the biggest one, too, I hear.
That's nightmare fuel. If I saw a rat that big, it should be in the Bill of Rights that I should be able to shoot a rat that big to bring it back.
Big enough to get taxidermied.
Well, you've never been to New
1,
York.
2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you ever, Will? Did you ever see the movie of Unknown Origin?
No.
It's a really old one. It's if I'm thinking of the right one, it's pretty much about these people chasing down this monstrously huge rodent.
You know what? I'm one of those people, like most humans. In my mind, I exceed my programming, so I've never seen a human-sized rat, but I'm in fear of them because of the movies.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about your house being infested with capybaras.
Well, how
Oh.
big are the giant rats of Sumatra?
Oh, those are gross. Alexa,
And who had
what's the
an
size
album
of
by
the
that
giant
name?
rats of Sumatra?
Here's something I found on the web. According to Afripedia.org, the bamboo rat, Rhizomes spp, is the largest rodent on the island of Sumatra in Indonesia. It weighs 2 to 4 kilograms and the body can be as long as 45 centimeters.
2 to 4 kilos. You could
An 8-pound rat? Wow.
That's a you could feed half the village with that thing.
No, that would be more like 9 point something.
That would
that's
eat
big.
half the village.
That's a breakfast burrito, at least.
Put it in diapers. Give it a baby stroller. Holy cow, that's that's huge.
You know, I'm a standard American, so my first thought was to shoot it. I'm going to tell you, because I grew up in the suburbs, I really didn't experience cockroaches or rats until I moved to the city. And so I was old enough to know that they were disease-filled and disgusting. So I never I never had an affinity for rats. And now that I'm remembering, when I first met my ex-wife, she had a rat. And you know what? The rat left. And I stayed. Should have been the opposite. No, I'm kidding. We get along now.
Does that mean you had her get rid of it?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But
really?
rat people know rat people. So she just gave it to another rat person. It wasn't like it was going up to that farm where we really just put the animals down.
Rats are really friendly.
Oh, I'm not also I had an ex-girlfriend that had ferrets. Ferrets smell like their piss. So your house will smell like ferret piss.
Yeah, well, a ferret is halfway between a weasel and a skunk.
Oh, I hate ferrets. They're awful, and once they get out of the cage, they will burrow in your house, and then you have to hope they don't electrocute themselves and short out half your house.
Yeah.
They're awful.
I thought ferrets had some kind of scent gland that you could have removed and make them smell better.
Yeah, but that's like people that get skunks depouched, people that get the claws removed from raccoons. What's the point? Get a chow chow. If you want something violent, get a chow chow. If you want something small, get a Pomeranian and move on with your life.
Whoa. Chow chows are not violent.
If you put them in a corner, they'll bite your face off.
Well, any animal will when it's cornered.
Chow chows are actually really aggressive. You should do your research, Purple. No, I'm kidding.
We had one.
I know.
She was the sweetest dog.
My Cubby
The
was
toddler used to crawl all over her and pull on her lips and ears, and she never did a thing.
I had Bogey, and Bogey. I named Bogey after Humphrey Bogart, and Bogey loved me. And if anyone came within 5 feet of me, Bogey would try to kill him. So everyone considered my dog violent.
Arf, sweetheart.
my Cubby babe was I'd like to tell this story because it's kind of fun, and dog's life. One day there was a party, and this black Labrador and this Lhasa Apso got together and had a baby, and one of the babies grew up, and then did it with a chow, and that was born. That's how Cubby got born. So Cubby was Lhasa Apso Black Lab and Chow. The sweetest dog you'll ever meet, just perfectly calm. Never was nasty to anybody.
Sloth Girl's mother had Lhasas. She called them lopsided assholes.
Well, now we know where Sloth Girl gets it from.
Oh, Isaiah loves Wednesdays because he can act like he's doing schoolwork, and it's the one time where I'm not like, "Hey, what are you doing? Let me see your assignment."
Why is Wednesday different?
Because I'm live streaming. I'm a hover parent, and because I'm overcompensating because my parents treated us like feral humans. And let us do whatever we wanted. I'm like, oh, and plus Isaiah has autism, so it's different. But, I'm a consistent human being if you haven't noticed. So
I don't know. I'd be careful. Consistent borders on normal.
no, it does not in today's world at all. Are you kidding me? I am habitually consistent, and people hate me for it.
Yeah, because normal humans are capricious.
Mm-hmm. Procrastinate. My ex-wife, every weekend she calls. Sorry, Jenny. Let me say this really quick. She calls me every weekend at a certain time because she knows that I'm gonna call her and be like, "Hey, what's going on? How's it going?" I'm just a prompt human being. Hey, Mark Caesar.
I was just going to say that I would procrastinate more, but I just never get around to it.
I was thinking about that when I was setting these streams up. That that some of the holiday sites I've got, they say that if you've heard of a holiday we don't have, you should submit it. So I was thinking I should get everybody to submit for National Procrastination Day, and just on the notes on it, just put must be celebrated the following day.
I keep on trying, but I keep on having other things to do.
Oh, hey, Ox.
Hey, Slim. So, I have a 103-year-old sewing machine.
Really?
With the cabinet. And the funny thing is, when I did my research, the cabinet is worth more than all the 4 sewing machines right here.
Yep.
So, can you show us the cabinet?
Well, it's at a bad angle, and my laptop's really hooked up to everything. But I can try to angle it. But it's I got it for an unreal price, and when I appraise everything, and there's like this other one that's 103 years old, the white rotary, that's already up for sale. But like this one, I'm gonna play around with it for a while. But the cabinet I know why, because it's well built. But if you look, I'll take a picture of it. The wrought iron, just the work that Singer put in for the table is unreal. For something that was
in your last video, or
it's just for something that was made 103 years ago. Someone sat down and thought about every single inch of that table.
Well, it was the stand for a treadle machine. They just took the pedal out of it.
Exactly. And I have the pedal too. It's up at the ranch. But I was just all stoked because my white rotary, it's in really good condition. It does not look like it's 103 years old. This one, with everything, it looks like it's 103 years old. And I might not even make it shiny. I might keep it where it is.
Where do you get the belts for those things?
They're widely available, and they come from the UK, because people in the UK love to sew. And even with Brexit, most stuff comes on time.
It's bollocks.
What kind of shop are you looking for, though, that sells it?
Well, it's more and more specialty shops, and Amazon will have it if it has anything to do with Singer. But if it's an off-brand, you really have to hunt, because now you're looking for someone who says, hey, I have a part from a Nelco, from a brother from 1965. You have to find these people. It's much like old car parts. Like, you know,
Yeah.
find me a headlight for a Ford Fairlane. It'll take you a while, but you'll find one. You know.
What year?
exactly. And that's what I was ranting about in my last video about because I took the sewing machine home and I opened it up and it said standard, and I was like, I'm gonna go beat up the guy who owns Rooster's Relics because he ripped me off. Because he's like, oh, it's a singer, and I googled it, and Isaac Merritt Singer literally, like I said in my video, every time he got pissed off, he'd make a new company. So this is a singer, and that's why everything around it is Singer. Because he was still, his last name was still Singer, but he made the standard company.
Did everybody use pretty much the same size belt?
Yes, until they started getting into industrial machines like leather machines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes. Well, certain companies did, but if you think about it, like a lot of these were in competition with themselves, because if you look it up, they're all subsidiaries of Singer or were eventually bought out. But while they were in competition, they were trying to one up each other. That's why Singer always has a weird bobbin. In every other company, they're all interchangeable, and Singer will have one or two. It's like Apple. They'll have one or two parts that are not interchangeable.
Well, it makes for profit.
Cubby Hermit, you are 100% right. I think about this all the time of how privileged I am and how lucky I am to be able to tool around in my car on the weekends and go buy old sewing machines. I know that I'm lucky.
Oh,
You should thank him then, Godless Sewing. You now know something you didn't before.
yeah.
I've learned. Sorry.
I saw a TikTok of some guy bitching about how much it cost to fill up his SUV. And his SUV was, like a highway motor coach. And like, yeah, that you've got a camper that's bigger than my apartment. I'm really sorry for you.
So I really promote other people's videos, but everybody should go watch Swede's video right now, Irish Swede, on the gas prices, and he breaks it down like gas isn't as high. This isn't the highest it's ever been, and people my age, like, did you lose your brains? Did we all forget about George Bush?
Yeah,
did we
this
all
is
forget
not
about
record highs. I keep telling people that September 2009, when I drove to New York, gas prices were higher than they are now. This is not the first time gas has been over $4 a gallon.
No, it's definitely not. I remember distinctly in the first crash.
In America, it's not the highest. But over here in Shit Island, it is going through the fucking roof. But we've got hella problems with all kinds of fuel at the moment. Really
how much
bad.
a liter is it?
I don't know. Ask me how much it costs on a train, because apparently I'm now an expert at trains. I don't know. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's 170 something, or I don't know, something like that, which apparently is a hell of a lot of money. And it's going to go even higher. The same with because we've got what we're calling the cost of living crisis, because all our heating bills are
well, that's only about under $7 a gallon.
Yeah, but people can't afford to heat their homes, so old ladies and old people are dying, and people are.
Yeah, but that's a common thing over here. The old people always die in the winter.
Yeah,
it's true.
No, I'm laughing. No, I know,
because that's how shit our country is. But because the cost of electricity and gas is going in a really big way in Europe, we now have
you hear our old people die in summer, because in winter they have moratoriums on shutting off people's heat.
It's true. Actually,
The
happens
governments
here.
won't let the gas companies do that.
Well, despite the fact that the oil people are making absolute record profits,
$8.50 in Australia. Wow. I bought a gallon of gas yesterday and it was $3.94. It went down
Yeah. Well, did
8
you hear?
pennies.
Biden's got this great plan now that he's going to tax the oil companies, and send rebates to working class people. I've
well,
got an
we've got
idea that's much simpler. How about the government just stops giving the oil companies these huge subsidies?
what we've got over in Europe land in sensible countries, the governments have said no, you are not doing this, and they've put a cap on what they can increase their costs by, or they've taxed them a shitload. And so the example here is France, and they've, as well as giving their people money to help them pay their fuel, I'm talking domestic fuel bills, heating your homes, what have you. They've given people money to help pay, and they said to the energy providers, look, no, you're not doing this. 5%, you're not increasing anybody's bills by more than 5%. UK average 54% increase. And so it's not just the poors that are going to be dying, because they die anyway, but you've now got people with money who are not going to be able to afford their heating bills. And this all kicks in, I think, April the 1st. And it's a really big fucking deal.
Purple, I just sent you a picture of when the last time I drove my truck. I think it was like a week or two ago. But the picture I just sent you, that was for half of one tank, and my truck has two 20-gallon tanks.
Ouch.
Yeah, and so I have not stepped foot in my truck in almost 2 weeks, probably longer if I really thought about it. And I can afford it, but who the hell, like, if you show the picture, it's expensive here. It's still $5 here in California. Gas is still $5. So it's unreal right now here. Like this weekend,
our high was $3.99.
I will not be going to sunny, beautiful Ventura, California this weekend. I go every weekend, but it's like half a tank of gas, and that's $74.
I just wish these knobs on the right wing would take the time to get a little educated about how this stuff works.
Well, really quick,
they
Jenny,
bitch, oh, Biden, Biden raised the problem. It's like, okay, that's bullshit. Let me tell you why. Have you ever noticed the guy on the evening news say, oh, well, gas prices are up because of the fear of what may happen to the supply chain from during the Ukraine crisis, blah, blah, blah. Who changes those prices? Futures dealers. The people who are dealing in futures, they don't have any stake in the actual companies. They're just trading the oil itself, and they manipulate the market so that they make profit. There is no reason for the oil to have gone up other than these guys are going to gamble a little bit. Like Las Vegas type gambling. That's what it is.
Well, and it's complete bullshit blaming it on the Ukraine thing too, because the Ukraine war means that the pipeline to Russia has been shut down, which means that the supply from the Middle East has effectively increased.
You guys, they've been pumping out, I think it's like I don't want to misquote it, but since the day that Exxon tapped the first well in the middle of the Saudi Arabian desert, and they were like, okay, thank you, get the hell out of my country, they've been pumping millions of barrels a day and have not stopped since then. And really quick, on this picture, that's quite literally 12 gallons. That it was never that high. It was never $74 for 12 gallons, ever. That's an unreal price for people that, oh, that's not a lot of money. Like, that's a lot of money. just for me to tool around and buy $12 sewing machines.
Well, and like Stuhl was saying, we've got the same case in the U.S. here. That they're calling it a crisis now because it's not just the poor people who are suffering, but it's actually people who are making $100,000 a year who are starting to have problems.
Oh yeah, I've heard people on the radio, of course, who've been phoning in tears. Not just the poors, but people who are reasonably doing okay, and just their fuel, the house heating, their home heating bills. They've received their estimates now. What they, it says what you paid last year, what you're going to pay this year, and it's going up by thousands and thousands of pounds. It's insane. It's going to be a bad year.
Same here. Food is slowly going up here as well. And but before we move on from the gas, like we were saying earlier, the president has no say whatsoever. It's those greedy ass companies that say, "Oh, there's a conflict, make the price higher because they're gonna pay for it." Because gas is like smoking cigarettes. You don't necessarily need it, but you think you need it.
What people also need to understand about capitalism is the whole supply and demand pricing structure is bullshit. It is designed purely to fill the pockets of the capitalist who has the product. Just because there is less of something available does not cause the price to go higher. They choose to raise the price higher because they know people will be desperate and they'll pay more just to be able to get what they want. That they're gouging. It's just gouging people because they've decided that there's going to be a supply and demand issue. This whole inflation thing that's going on right now, it did not get started by anything. Okay, the trucking backup and stuff that did not cause these prices to raise. The prices were raising in businesses that had nothing to do with the transport issues.
Yep.
But they just started to raise the prices because they saw here's an opportunity because everybody.
So that reminds me. Oh, where'd Jenny go?
Yeah,
last week, last Friday, when Isaiah should be doing PE, we always go to thrift stores every Friday. It's our let's do something fun. On the way home, I noticed that the freeway was clogged, so I just started taking back streets. I got on a street that was overlooking the freeway. There was a freedom convoy going to Sacramento, California. I had never seen so many big rigs in my life going in one direction. But they needed someone to blame, so they were all going to the state capitol to yell at the legislators who probably aren't there or just flat out do not care. So it's crazy.
There was a great moment I heard about that with all the stuff, in Canada, that they started arresting them for blocking the roads and such.
Well, there's
when one of these truckers was finally taken to court, he got in there and started whining to the judge about, what about my First Amendment rights? And the judge said, what are you talking about? You're in Canada. The First Amendment establishes the province of Manitoba.
That's awesome. That's a good way to tell them to shut the F up.
The head of BP Europe the other day was caught making a comment, and he said, we've been taken by surprise. We're making more money than we ever have. We've got more money than we know what to do with.
Oh, they should give it back.
So something's not quite right.
What an asinine thing to say. I've learned from being online, there's a lot of things that I keep my mouth shut about because I'm from the suburbs of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I know that I live a different life than other people. So it pisses me off when billionaires brag about being billionaires.
Well, that's why Biden had to start talking about taxing the gas companies. because it pretty much got out that they've been price gouging, and that while the price of gas is going through the roof, they are making record profits.
So I have a question as the resident Ferengi profiteer and capitalist. Okay, so we're all stomping the Russians right now. Rah rah, we don't like the Russians. Okay, we're going after the Russian oligarchs. Okay, when how can I say this nicely? When does we hate the Russians and mob rule? Where's the line? Because I saw a house was seized in the UK. Okay, but that's someone's private property that they purchased, whether you like them or not. You know, I'm an American. If you come on my private property, I'm gonna hurt you. So,
but the thing is about that story, which has enraged quite a lot of us, it's actually an even scarier story, but that's a completely different subject, totally off the subject. That's pissed us all off today. It's about the racisms. But that house that you saw, it was some dicks, for people who are not aware. We've got this problem with the oligarchs in this country, blah, blah. And, you know, they buy these houses worth tens and tens of millions of pounds. They don't live in them. It's just a way for them to launder their money in the money laundering capital of the world, which is London. And so because we've got this little war going on in Ukraine, some hippie types broke into this empty oligarch's mansion and said, we're liberating it and what have you. But what pissed everybody off was the reaction from the police, because within an hour or two, and it's on video, you've got 10 police vans with tens and tens of police officers in riot gear turning up to this empty property. And everybody who's normal who lives in this country is saying, hang on a minute, when my house gets burgled, no fucking police come. What's the difference?
Oh, so your cops are like our cops. They'll show up eventually, like 6 hours later.
Oh, no, they might show up, and if they do, they won't do anything if your house is burgled. But if you're an oligarch with a property worth tens of millions, they'll send 10 vans full of police officers around in full riot gear, for fuck's sake.
Really quick, Mark Caesar, Americans in general are just like we're inherently violent. We're all a bit sociopathic. So like in our heads, we think if somebody comes unwanted in our house, we have the right to shoot them. And it's only in a few states where you really have the right to do that. And I would go to prison. And I live in California. If I shot someone in my own house, I would go to prison. So I live in lefty land.
Yeah, and they've shown that since those stand your ground laws started to be adopted, the gun homicide rate in those states has risen from 11 to 35%.
Because people are idiots. People are idiots.
People are using it as an excuse to shoot people. That's all there is to it.
Purple. I can do it. When Will's finished, I can do a cool segue here. This is really cool to lead me into my next little ramble. Carry on, Will. Go on. Finish up.
I'm charged. I woke up early, and there's a lot going on in the world right now.
Just a little, yeah.
So I'm a bit charged. No, but
did you see the guy?
No, go
ahead. Did you watch?
Did
you watch Ukrainian President Guy's video address?
No.
To this today, he was addressing Congress. You know, the people. He was addressing those people. And it was pretty moving stuff, because he was basically asking for a list of things that they needed so that they wouldn't die and lose their country. And some dickhead Republican dude, I guess, on Twitter after this said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, well, he could have worn a suit. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
He's in a bunker. His country is in a war zone. He's the president and they're trying to kill him. And he's not wearing a suit.
I haven't said this in a while, but remember, in America, we think that Joan of Arc was Noah's wife. Or the other half think that Joan of Arc was a French woman, so they just burned her because she was a French woman. So just remember, in America, we make up our own history.
So with the oligarchs mansion thing, that was the thing that we were all pissed off about yesterday. Because it was absolutely ridiculous to send so many police officers to an empty fucking mansion just because it's an oligarch. I mean, it's like you're being trolled. So somebody posted a witty little meme thing on the Twitters saying, if you're a British woman in the UK, dress as an oligarch's mansion because then the police will take notice. Because we've also got this really bad problem now with the Met Police, which is the London police force. They've been up to all kinds of shenanigans, really bad shit. Really bad shit. And the story that a report has been released today from an incident that happened in December 2020 concerning the Met Police again. There was a 15-year-old schoolgirl at school. She sat doing an exam with all the other kids doing their exams. And the teachers thought, oh, we can smell weed on her. She's a black kid, right? So they take her out, search her, found nothing. Phoned the police. This is just because they thought they could smell weed on her. Phoned the police. 4 officers turn up, 2 men, 2 women, take her into a room with no parent or other teachers, strip search her,
The fuck?
and internally examine her.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No.
Found nothing, by the way. There was no weed. And this is like a 15-year-old girl, and she's on a period at the time as well, and we can't even talk about some of the nasty things that they made her do. It's gross. Did all this to her, found nothing, and then said, all right, go back into that room and carry on with your exam. What the fuck?
Yeah, bullshit.
Do you know what? I hate
problem.
And this was in England?
Yeah, that's in London. Yeah. So the
London,
Met Police are the force that looks after London, and they've been in the shit quite a lot recently over all the real shit things they've been doing that they've been caught doing, like taking pictures of dead people and having a laugh in their WhatsApp groups and telling
what the hell?
Do you know what's
the
really
female
funny?
colleagues how they'd like to rape them and all that kind of shit.
Hey Sarah, do you know what's funny? Everything you're describing, well, I didn't get probed by the cops, at least that time, but I'm kidding. When I was in junior high, the sheriff's Cobra team came to my junior high. They got all the bad kids and searched us, and if we didn't have drugs on us, they basically gave us an hour-and-a-half speech. And they told a friend of mine, they're like, by the time you guys are 40, you're going to be sharing a jail cell. Oh, and by the way, sheriffs, go fuck yourself, because I own my own home, and my friend is married to a B actress. So we've both made it. Go F yourself. But my whole point is the Los Angeles sheriffs have been doing that for a very long time. They take ownership over your children. So it makes me... basically, your cops are acting like the LAPD. They really are, because where I'm from, they have no problem doing that whatsoever to a child at all.
They certainly are. I mean, it's not a common thing, but we've had so many problems recently with the Met, the Metropolitan Police, London, and the list of stuff that they've been found out to be doing, it is just fucking. It is like America. It's
and because I'm an honorary Plague Island person, you guys actually had faith in your police. I've never had faith in the police ever. I was raised to not trust the police. So it is shocking. What was that that woman's name who was murdered by the police officer? That was shocking. That happens all the time in America.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, for those not familiar with, I'm not going to dwell on it, but the guy who killed this woman turned out to be a police officer, and he was in the Met as well.
Mm-hmm.
And his nickname that his colleagues gave him was Mr. Rapey. We've got problems. And the problems are not helped by the fact that the woman in charge of all the police in the land is, Will...
Oh, Priti Patel?
Priti Patel. So
Yeah.
we are basically fucked.
She's angry, though. Like, she literally takes pictures. I don't think people understand. She stood while people were being taken from their home, being deported. She stood there for a photo op. That's a new kind of evil. Not even like the fun kind of evil, the people I like who like, you know, loosen salt shakers at restaurants. That's neutral evil.
She is an absolute piece of shit. She really is.
Jeez, that made me cringe, and I'm an American, and I was like, what the when I saw that, there's certain times where I have to like stop watching your news because it makes me angry, like I live there.
Oh yeah, and I'm trying my best not to stress about it because it ain't going away. It's going to get worse before it gets better with this lot in charge. Johnson's fucked off to Saudi Arabia to beg for oil because he's decided that Russian oligarchs are naughty. So he's now kissing the asses of the Saudis who at weekend executed 81 people in one day. Without trials, of course.
Yeah.
They have. Do you know our quote unquote morals stop when someone when they have what we want, and that's a tradition from your country and mine. If somebody has something, we will look past anything. We deal with China, and they have more slaves than the people that live in my country. You know, my son is on this really hardcore, weird hippie thing right now because he watches the internet too much, and he's like, I'm not going to eat anything that's made from Nestle. I said, all right, bro, go in the kitchen and go look. And you better plan to never eat a Hot Pocket in your life again.
Oh, God. The Easter eggs have started today, Will. The annual Easter egg outrage. I've got to laugh. It's like you guys with
Easter egg outrage.
Yeah, it's like you guys with your you can't say Merry Christmas anymore. Every year, all the thicko racists will do I've been to the supermarkets and none of the Easter eggs say Easter on them anymore. Oh, Muslims. Ooh.
It's when people lose what they perceive as their dominance, they cry like a child.
It's regular as clockwork, though, just like with your war on Christmas. It's complete bullshit. And every year, we all point out that Easter, some Easter eggs, as in the chocolate things, some of them will have the word Easter on, some of them will not. It's been like that for 200 years.
Ours just say Cadbury.
It's not a conspiracy.
Well, that and point out that Easter egg hunts were a pagan tradition before anyone in Europe had seen a Bible.
Yeah.
I always wondered how...
Perp, I hate to interrupt here, but I'm going to anyways. Perp, I sent you a thing on a direct mail and Twitter, a picture. I'd love you to share it with the everybody, except those hands. Those hands don't get to see the picture.
What are you gonna say, Doc? Those hands.
It's not important.
What are you doing?
Well, I typed it in the chat out there. NASA has announced today that the Webb telescope is now perfectly aligned and ready to send back pictures of very dim, very small objects. That picture you see is the final alignment. That's a very dim star, and it is just big and bright and sharp as a tack.
Nice. I watched this channel.
Yeah, Dr. Becky's cool.
Yeah,
I've watched Dr. Becky from when she had like 400 or 500 followers. She's really blown up.
I I've heard of her, but it's not stuff I normally watch.
I've watched her so long, like she between her and Miss Starakaka Pulu, I cannot say her last name. I discovered that there's certain books that you can't buy from the UK, or if you do, they cost like quadruple the price because of shipping.
There's an amazing number of women who are into planetary physics and astronomy and all kinds of cool tech stuff like that are on Twitter and stuff. I follow everyone that I can. I'm probably up to about 30 or 40 people.
Dr. Becky is awesome, but she goes off, but she speaks in plain English.
Yeah.
So that I can understand what she's saying, Like I read Scientific American and they'll explain the unexplainable words, and I appreciate it. Because they know someone like me, in their 40s, has done too many drugs, is reading their magazine.
And her English is really good for a foreigner.
We'll get into that more next week.
What are we looking at?
It's my mad kitty cat gargoyle.
Oh, okay.
So it's a gargoyle that sits on the edge of a shelf or something. It's got claws that hang over the edge.
Grotesque.
Does water actually flow through it?
No, it's not a tradition. It's not like a real gargoyle for water, a water spout. It's just a piece that, we have a handful of different kinds of. Yeah, grotesque. Yeah, there you go. That's the right thing. I just can't figure out what I'm going to do with the back because I don't like the wings that we made. So I think I'm going to fill that in. I was going to make it into a pen holder, but I don't seem to be getting those to work very well. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet.
I think I'm about to get green donuts delivered.
Aw, mommy and baby.
Yeah, dolphins.
Groovy.
I'm gonna put a magnet on the back so that it will stick on the.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see, and then another kitty cat. This one's more like a lion, though. Well, the light's not gonna pick that up. Oh well. Okay, that's it. That's what I was working on today, and middle fingers, of course.
I saw this person on Etsy who sells 3D printed things, and she's into space and aviation, and she sells these small replicas of the Saturn V F1 engines, and I'm not sure what material she does them in, but they're hard, and then she has them plated with silver or gold, and gets like 150 a pair for them, but they're just beautiful.
Ooh, that's cool. Heck yeah. I hate getting things plated. We've had so many hiccups trying to get some of our stuff plated, and yeah, no thank you. We just now do spray stuff to finish the outside. So our chrome is just a spray chrome that we put on the outside. So
have you seen the current rage in fingernail polish? The chrome like finishes?
No.
They have come up with this chrome paint, which is all nail polish is a paint. That it does such a sweet job of drying flat and has the right mica content and everything, that it looks like fucking metal chrome. It's just beautiful.
Nice.
And you can get it in all kinds of different colors. I'm sure you could get it for what you're trying to do. I don't know if you'd want to buy the nail polish things because they're awful expensive, but
I'll definitely check out and see. That's pretty much just a lacquer. So if I could find the company that would make like a large quantity of it and not just in a nail polish, then I might be able to use it.
Yeah, you can buy those. You can buy the chrome nail kits at like Sally Beauty Supply and places like that, or online. Oh, Seraphim's got the powder. That's another way of doing it.
Yeah, I've we have the bronze powder that we use, and we have a silver powder and a copper powder that we use in our stuff to give it more of a metal look as well. So, yeah, we do all kinds of silly things to make our stuff look like different things. So I've been messing around with this for 10 years. We've been doing the resin stuff, so we've just been messing around and playing with it for a hot minute now.
I love 3D printers. I really wish I had one.
So is the legend true? The more stinky the resin is, the longer it'll last, or what? The more it smells, the better it is?
I never really heard that. The molding stuff that we use for our rubber molds stinks like almost like rotten vagina sometimes. I mean, it's kind of gross smelling. That is. The resin doesn't itself smell very much. Yeah, sometimes you open it up and you're just like, oh, dude, okay, never mind. And you have to be in a well-ventilated area. Yeah, you have to be in a well-ventilated area.
From any paint or resin, the smell is actually coming from the solvent that keeps it liquid.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. You know, yeah. I've been eating a lot of vegetables lately. I'm like nuclear. I'm mad at my own smell.
I'm trying to broccoli and cruciferous.
But I love broccoli though, but it just it does not, man. No. And my son too. My son, the rule is like he's not allowed to leave SBDs in the room anymore. If you don't know what an SBD is, that's silent but deadly. Yep. I'm like, oh, did you fart in here, dude? And he's just run out laughing.
Oh yeah, that looks nice.
Oh.
So that's just a chrome spray.
That's awesome.
Really? Yeah. Yep.
I use a lot of epoxy and stuff that's smelly. That's why I asked the question. And it's like the illegal stuff, you know, because I live in California, so it'll say on the bottle, this is illegal in the state of California.
Yeah, exactly. I think most of the stuff that I have, it probably says that as well, and most is pretty stinky.
Mark Caesar, broccoli, and cauliflower.
Because your state warns you that the stuff will kill you.
On everything. Anything that has any kind of metal, any kind of fake metal spray, any kind of old paint, it is known to the state of California to cause cancer. And they say pregnant women just because they want you to read it and pay attention, but it's for everybody.
Well, organic solvents do exactly what the name implies. They dissolve organic things, which includes you and your brain and stuff. So VOCs are not a good thing.
I have a bug spray. It's called Dualicide, and I've been ordering it since as long as I can remember. And one day I turned it over, and it says this is illegal in the state of California because it has a bunch of pesticides in it. But if you spray it on a bug, they die on contact. And I work around sensitive equipment, and yes, I do hunt bugs, and yes, they try to live in buses. There's 22 vehicles at the ranch that I'm responsible for, so I have to make sure rats don't get in them. It's hardcore upkeep.
Oh, so BBC News. Diesel has just hit a record 176 per litre. So that has apparently gone up by 2 pence in one day, which doesn't sound a lot, but when you're in litres, it is. And the price of oil itself has gone down.
Mark Caesar, is that a joke? Or I'm not a chemist. Slim. Oh God.
Yeah, that's a new definition of twins right there.
Oh, jeez.
Looks like you're having twins.
That's on acid.
That is a death casting of a two-headed baby from the Bobby Reynolds Circus Sideshow. So that's fucking 50, 60 years old or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and
you mean they sold those?
No, this was actually one of them got stolen from the Mutter Museum, and that's a copy of that got stolen from the Mutter Museum. So,
and Sarah, I'm a very, very bad boy. Very, very bad boy. To make everything awkward. Sorry,
what did you do?
She called me. She said, "You're such a bad boy," and so I had to get my. Hold on. Let me get my hungry eyes out. Yes, I'm a very, very bad boy.
Oh, see, now everybody in chat says you're a bad boy too.
Thank you. I'm a very, very bad boy. Ooh, my shaving was even too. You guys, I do this with my left hand. Of course, I've been shaving since there was a 19 in front of the year. So I have a little bit of practice.
19, shit. I've been shaving since fucking...
Oh, I say that
16, 17.
I say that to make the the younger generation feel awkward. And I'm not an ageist, but I just think everyone younger than me sucks. But I'm not an ageist.
Well, to give you an idea of how bad my screen is, or as far as the size and not being able to see things because it's too tiny. When we just had that close-up of you, I just want you to know that I just noticed that you have a beard under your chin. How long have you had that?
So every two so I've had this for about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. I shave it off.
Okay.
Like I actually funny thing, hair stopped growing on my head and started growing everywhere else in my old age. So my face grows fairly fast, but I'm gray. So about once every 17 days I wake up and I'm like, "You're old, shave that shit off." And I go through a crisis, but then I grow it back because I'm slowly accepting my age. And you know what? I'm going to say something real. Like, I'm too old to date 20-year-olds. I no longer have the lung capacity, nor the patience. So I'm okay with showing a ton of gray. I'm retired. I had a lot of fun in my youth, so I'm okay with saying that I'm retired.
You can date 20-year-olds.
So when I was in my early 30s, I have a rule where if you take pictures of your food at dinner, I'm too old for you. It's just,
I like that one.
There's just certain things, like I'm awkward in general. So the whole internet era thing is just weird to me. Like I'm okay with not showing off my life to strangers on the internet or people I went to high school with.
Yeah, I'm not judging people, but I'm judging behavior. What the fuck is the shit with taking pictures of your damn food and posting them on social media? I think that is just...
I still really haven't got the idea.
Okay.
Well, and there's people who could see it that are fucking starving and shit.
No, but what Stool does is more funny. Like people that post prime rib every night. First off, they're probably living in their car. I don't know. I just, people are really pretentious online and they say a lot of things to pretend to be who they're not. Yeah. And I'm not saying everybody, but they're I see people on Facebook and I'm like, "Oh, you are so fake. Your mom talked trash about you a week ago. I know you're not winning." Especially Facebook, because I'm intimate friends with people, and because I moved back to my hometown. My Facebook, I'm friends with most of my friends' moms, their aunts and uncles, because we all lived in the same town. So social media is just where people go in front.
Yeah, I still haven't internalized the concept. It's even when I'm out and see something, it does not occur to me that I've got a camera in my pocket, just because that was just not a thing for my entire life.
Same.
I keep forgetting about it too.
I keep on threatening that I need to put a dash cam in my car because I always see all the spectacular stuff in my car. I haven't done it because like you said, I'm not from that generation. I was from the last generation that didn't have computers in the classroom. We had Apple IIe's and we had the first inception of computers, but they weren't in our lives like they are today.
Nope, the Fed just announced a 1/4 point increase in interest rates.
Oh yeah, because working class people don't have it hard enough, huh?
Actually, I heard something about that. We might want them to increase interest rates right now because if I understand this correctly, inflation it's actually much worse, but it's officially stated as over 7% now, and with interest rates at 0%, that effectively means that interest rates are at negative 7%. And that is actually great if you have assets. That's great if you have investments, because your so like wealthy people are having a ball right now. But
I have some good inflation news.
But for the working Joes like us, it royally sucks. It means higher prices and shit. So we actually probably want higher interest rates because it would probably hit the wealthier people first.
Okay, but as a angry capitalist, I have to say something though. Like, that's all good and well, but to the people who aren't millionaires, let's say you're 100,000aire. In the UK, they take 51% of your income. Okay, and people are like, "Oh, they take so much." In America, they take 48%. So I really want you to think about that. Like, so even if someone made a ton of money, you're still giving half of that to the government. And yeah, you're still 100,000aire. You still have more money than everybody else, but you're giving half of that to your government.
Yeah, that 51% figure is basically bullshit. I don't know what you've been reading.
My brother lived in the UK, and his wife is from there, and they lived at an army base. Hey,
hello.
Kitty. And they moved to America because they gave less of their income than in the UK.
Okay, Jenny, I'm just gonna have to mute you.
Did they really, though?
I have to mute you when you're not talking because we're getting a lot of wind noise from you.
I had this conversation with Swede too. No, I'm gonna fight you on this one because I had this conversation with Swede, and I'm going off of Swede's numbers too.
Well, so, a lot of people don't understand how taxes work, especially, don't at me, but especially Americans, because you don't pay 51% in tax. That's just ludicrous nonsense. It really is. But I want to give you my good inflation news. And this is nothing to do with the fact that I am literally on a blow-up bed right now. That's a different story. We have there was a bit of a hoo-ha a few weeks ago because the inflation rate was published, and normal people said, well, this is bollocks, because when you publish that figure, whatever it is, it's usually a really small number. It's risen by tiddly-widdly bit. For poor people, that figure isn't based on things that poor people buy, like food and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's quite meaningless. But we have this thing called the retail price index. You'll have something similar. So there's a list of goods. I think we have about 70 items or something. And every year, a government department looks at this list, and it's supposed to be what the average family buys. And it compares the prices for the previous year to the price this year, and it comes up with a figure. Okay, this is how much more stuff costs you. Now, this list of items hasn't changed for 70 years. So here's my good news. They've removed encyclopedias from the list. And I'm not talking about online encyclopedia. I'm talking about the big things you stick on a shelf. Those things that we all go out to buy.
Now you can burn them for heating during the winter.
If we can afford the fuel to burn.
That's awful. How's it going, Kitty?
It's going. I just got back from Publix, like speaking of inflation, just picking up some deli meat for dinner and for, you know, lunch over the next couple of days. Just cost me $80. So
yikes. Oh
yeah.
That's the one, Greg.
I got 3 different kinds of cheese and like 4 different kinds of meat and some pickles and black olives and lettuce and tomatoes, and it cost me $80.
Yeah,
Feels bad. Feels bad.
Mark made the obvious point there just to piss on Will's cornflakes, which is why I was saying most people don't understand taxes. You don't pay the highest rate on your entire income. So
no, and like honestly, the one thing, you know, that I would say it would be great to go back to the 1950s for, it's not women or gay rights or any of that. It's the fact that the top marginal tax rate was 90%. Yep. So when you got to that top bracket, they took 90% of it because eat the rich, like fuck them.
Well,
no, the older I get, the more post-capitalist I get. That too, back when they actually did pay taxes. But no, like I said, the older I get, the more post-capitalist I get. Burn it all to the ground. Capitalism is essentially amoral and is the root of so many evils in the world. And yeah.
On that note, really quick, hold on, really quick. On that note, everybody should get yourself a rich old lady friend. I have green donuts.
Oh, I've got to be really impolite here. Kitty, usually when you enter the room,
capitalism.
I like to look at your jiggle bits, but Will's got food.
All right, fine, I won't talk.
Go ahead. I'm just showing off my green donuts.
No, hey, that's okay. I've just been waiting to try to get in, and
put those on the table.
Everybody jumps in before me, so go ahead. Talk your brains out.
That box is wonky.
No, Jenny, go ahead. Your turn.
That 90% rate existed. It really did exist, and it was in the 50s and 60s, and it was JFK who first started to bring it, to lower it. But today it's gone absolutely kooky, and the top rate is about 28% now, whereas the rate that all of us regular people pay is in 30 percentile. That's what they mean by, they say, like Warren Buffett said, that he pays less tax than his secretary.
Yep.
I have massive tax breaks. I'm just bitchy because around this time of year, I pay a lot of money to the state of California, and I'm really going to move out of this state. I'm so mad at California. It's not even funny.
Yeah, well, don't come to Florida.
I don't like Florida's laws. Florida scares me.
Yeah. No, it should scare you between the Don't Say Gay bill and
exactly.
I think they're trying to do an abortion ban bill here now too.
Florida's one of those places that they're like, okay, we can go after trans people. Let's just go after all gay people now. Let's just go after the whole umbrella.
I would like to offer some good news. The state of Wisconsin just voted down the anti-trans person law that some guy was trying to put through that would, fuck with children and also adults.
Yeah, you were saying about that on B's stream the other night.
Well, so there's at least some progress. Hey, what time is it?
It is
I got
11,
almost
12.
quarter after 1.
Quarter after 1? Okay. I have a doctor's appointment today with my new doctor, who my old doctor referred me to.
Well, hopefully they are a good doctor and they treat you like a person and an individual and not just, a barcode to be scanned for insurance claims.
Well, they were. Dr. Allred was specifically chosen by my past doctor because of her previous experience with HRT and her willingness to take on transgender clients. So,
well, that's a good. That's.
It's a good sign.
I mean, it's a good sign. It's a very good sign. I am dealing with my own issues with insurance. One of the medications I've been on for years, the insurance company doesn't want to pay for it now. They're like, oh, well, we need a prior authorization for this because we don't know that you necessarily need it. Now, it's my gabapentin. It's a anti-neuropathy, anti-seizure medication that is used in people with my condition to help treat not only the pain, but, just the issues that I have with my nerves. And it really fucking pisses me off that you have a doctor who goes to medical school and says, yeah, this is what the prescription regimen is going to be for this patient, and this is what has them stable and able to live somewhat like a functioning human being. Yeah. And then the insurance company, who did not go to medical school, says, see, I don't know about that. No, we don't want to pay for that. And out of pocket, the medicine's $300 a month. Now, with the GoodRx coupon, I can get it for $80, which still hurts, but is, a lot more doable. But it doesn't, I have to wait, because the doctor, my doctor's office is great. I called them up, and the girl who works there, Amanda, she, even during the pandemic, took care of me. If there was ever a snafu where the insurance company wanted to be giant douche nozzles, she was on top of it, getting it sorted. She's always looked out for me, and she treats me like a person and not just an insurance claim. Because as somebody who's been disabled since the age of 19, and I'm 35 now, I've had my fair share of doctors that they do not care about you. You are just there for the insurance payment, and that's it. You are a number to them, not an actual person. And so, it should get sorted, hopefully. If not, I'll have to tighten the belt a bit to be able to afford it. But, I'll at least be able to get my meds. But I'm trying to give it a couple of days before I pay out of pocket, because the insurance company is not going to reimburse me if I pay for the medicine out of pocket.
Yeah.
So, I'll give it as long as I can, but I can't go without that medicine either. So, fuck our healthcare system. Seriously, just fuck it.
Healthcare for me is a complete pipe dream. It's simply not an option.
And meanwhile, in Mexico, you can go get any drug that you need at a pharmacy. Literally just walk up and go get it.
Yep.
Quite literally.
And it's the medicine's not even a narcotic. It is literally an anti-neuropathy medicine. So I don't fucking understand. If it were my narcotics, I would understand. It'd still be shitty because, again, the doctor prescribed this, and what has me functioning like a somewhat human being. But literally, it's not even a narcotic, and they're fucking. I don't get it. I just don't fucking get it.
And if any of them had neuropathy, they would understand how important it is to get your meds. I have a minor form of it right now, and even that is just unbelievable painful, and it happens any given second. Right, you'll wake up from sleep, you suddenly get some huge fucking pain somewhere, and there's nothing that caused it, nothing that you can do about it. It's just there, and
just that constant fucking burning that doesn't go away. People ask me, what my condition feels like. They say that it's the most painful chronic pain condition a person can have. It's called complex regional pain syndrome. Used to be called reflex sympathetic dystrophy or causalgia, and it goes back to the Civil War. Its name, causalgia, goes back to the Civil War, where it was called basically burning pain. Because fill all your blood vessels, all your nerve endings, every fiber of muscle tissue in your affected area with lighter fluid and napalm, and set it on fire and let it burn until the heat death of the universe. 24/7, 365. There's never a minute I'm not in pain. It's just, I have had to accept the fact that there's going to be a certain amount of pain I'm going to be in that I just have to live with, because it's impossible to take all the pain away. But with the medication regimen that I'm on, it gets me to a point where I can cope. There are still days that I fucking barely get out of bed. I go from bed to my chair where I'm propped up with pillows, and I don't fucking move all day because I am in so much pain. And then there are other days where I'm feeling better and I might go out and weed the garden, kind of thing. So it varies from day to day and even from hour to hour at times. Like I never know when is going to be a good day or when is going to be a bad day. But I also know that my choice is deal with it or be dead. And that's not an option. So, deal with it. But I would just hope that the insurance companies would stop fucking trying to butt their nose in between me and my doctor and allow me the medications that allow me to deal with it. It's got a macabre and morbid nickname, my condition. It's called the suicide disease because a lot of people end up just because of it.
Fucking
and again, why would anybody, why would an insurance, I know it's because of capitalism, because of the bottom line, but morally and ethically speaking, why would anyone want to fuck with the treatment regimen of someone who has something nicknamed the suicide disease?
Because they lack the understanding of those two words, of empathy and understanding.
Empathy and understanding, yeah, exactly. Capitalism in and of itself is not evil. Capitalism is amoral. However, capitalism breeds systems of inequity and power imbalances in such a way that evil flourishes. It is basically a mechanism in which those at the bottom are cogs in the machine that will be ground down to dust for the benefit of the few at the top.
It's amoral and enables evil.
Yes.
Another brick in the wall. Sorry, I had that song blaring in my head the whole time you guys were talking.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Oh no, it's true. That's why I'm bitching about how much money I have to pay for taxes. But it happens every year because I think I'm a baller, and then I have to give a bunch of it to the state.
Personally, I don't have to pay taxes, but that's because I don't really have any income. So, but that's just me. I don't have income of my own.
But
I'm technically living below the poverty level. So.
For as much as I bitch, I like paved streets. I like kids going to school in my area. I like, so I'm not bitching too hard. I'll do my share. I'll pitch in where I can because I didn't for a long time.
Kitty, I forgot to say this. Since I got you live and in person here, that it's not a wallet. What do you call them?
The zippered pouch.
Yeah, the zipper pouch. Jeez, I couldn't. It was just not coming out of my mouth.
Look, my
condition, it was beautiful. I really, really like that thing. That was just really neat. You're getting really good at doing those things.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. My condition affects the limbic system in my brain, and that's where sleep, mood, and memory are. So there are times that I'll be stuck trying to think of a word, and I could be looking right at the refrigerator, but my brain will not say that's a fucking refrigerator. I'm just like the ice box cold maker thing.
Word salad.
I get it.
Godless scummer. That is extremely well said.
Let's see.
Yeah. Capitalism, the only system in human history where people go hungry because there's too much instead of not enough.
Did you guys see that video where, I don't know if it was like a Uber Eats bot or something, where it went around the homeless person? That is the most capitalist thing I've ever seen in my life. It was a robot that was going to its destination. It sensed something in the road and it went around it. It's just a robot, But that is the most capitalist thing ever.
But it was a robot that was delivering takeout food for somebody.
Exactly.
Capitalism isn't designed this way, but when it's applied completely, there's always a winner and always a loser.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
And,
no,
the
true
winners become winners because they destroy the losers.
True capitalism is not really like this. What we have is predatory capitalism. Because under true capitalism, the wealth should be distributed among the workers.
No, that's called socialism.
Yeah, but still, capitalism, they should still have to be paying people reasonable to keep people working. But we've got a predatory system because basically they can starve people out.
It was a hell of a lot better 50 years ago, and ever since people sucked up to Reagan and started getting rid of unions, the standard of living has gone down, as predicted it would back in the 80s, and we deserve what we got because we kept putting our Republicans in office to control the labor laws, and they just gutted them.
Yep. Well, we've got what we got because people will always vote for the guy who promises not to raise taxes, regardless of any other policy they may advocate.
Or because they vote for the people that promise to, get between a woman and her doctor, or promise to fucking fight culture war issues that really don't matter, or promise to take away rights from people that, you don't like, i.e. immigrants and disabled people and fucking
perverts. Don't forget it's perverts.
Look, I don't like Tuesdays. That doesn't mean I'm going to wage a war on Tuesdays. People have lost their fucking mind recently. It makes me angry because we're digressing as a species. So I can't even say it legibly because it makes me so fucking angry of how people can't see that the Republicans want to control your money and your body.
The only people the Republicans care about are the fucking donor class and the corporations and shareholders.
What's interesting as far as when you use the term donor class, that's a reality for sure. But when they work the numbers, the poor put a larger percentage of their income into as donations than any of the rich people do, as an aggregate.
Sorry.
Rich people will give. I'm just going to make up some numbers. Will give like 2%, 3% of their income, and the poor people will give out like 8 or 9%.
You just reminded me of every time our local sheriff booster club calls me. I think they call me they send the trainees to me, and I'm like, "Do you know who you're calling? Go fuck yourself." And I will hang
cab,
up on
motherfucker.
I will hang up on them, and they're like, "Oh, but we're your local sheriff." I'm like, "I know because you called my cell phone. You know who I am." F you. You have my real name. Like, I don't. They beg for money here, and then they pull over it. In my town, the sheriffs were busted for pulling over and ticketing nothing but brown people. And because I live in LA, it was mainly Hispanic people, but they got busted. And people were like, "Look at the stats, you idiots! It's like 80% to 20%, like." So, yeah, ACAB. Not a fan. I'm not a fan at all.
And here's the thing, and the reason why I will comfortably say ACAB, sure, there are some good cops. There are. And in fact, I would say that, there's more okay cops than bad ones. The really bad ones are few and far between. However, they perpetuate a culture and a system that protects the bad ones and that makes them complicit.
No, collaborators. I'm old school. Collaborators should be hung right along with the people that they were collaborating with. And there's a saying, at least in my community, like all cops are assholes. Even I have a cop friend. Okay, he's an asshole to somebody else. He got injured. He got in this huge brawl. He was out for 6 or 7 months. He started day drinking, and one day he told me that he got in a fight with a 19-year-old. The 19-year-old wouldn't listen to him, and some kid broke his shoulder.
Oof.
But he is kind of a dickhead. He's my friend, but he's a total stereotypical Southern California shaved head, meathead, big buff sheriff, you know? So I don't know. I don't even know what the answer is anymore.
Jesus is the answer.
He owes me 20 he owes me $20. When you see that mother effer, you tell Jesus I'm looking for him. Jesus owes me money.
And I believe that the meek shall inherit the earth, because they're the only ones who won't bitch about the condition it's in when they get it.
Again, I live in a place that's mainly Hispanic. I know a bunch of people named Jesus. Oh, damn it. Now I have Spirit in the Sky stuck in my head.
So do I. I know a bunch of Jesuses.
Exactly.
Jesus.
You know, one of the first, when I was young, I knew someone named, I jokingly walked up to him and I was like, hey, your name's Jesus. He's like, look, I'm an atheist. I hate my name. My mom's religious. But he was like one of the first people I ever heard say out loud, I'm an atheist. Gosh, this was 25 years ago. It was a while ago, but he was angry. He was an angry Jesus.
Yeah, I can just imagine, so many, white people that just grew up kind of isolated, and the first time they run into a Hispanic guy named Jesus, of, thinking it's sacrilegious that the guy's saying he's Jesus.
Well, but it's okay to name your white kid Christian.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. So true. Or like, in Islam, that's a very protected religion. But how many people are named Muhammad? I know like 6 or 7 Mo's right now, just with my feet on the ground, just thinking about it. People I interact with, how many people do you know that are named Muhammad?
Muhammad is the most common name on the planet.
Exactly. Yeah. I know a lot of Mo's. Because
my real first name is a Hebrew name. Michael.
That's in the Bible. That's not Jewish.
It's the archangel. It's the dude that took over after Lucifer fell. Yeah, Michael is the general of the armies of heaven.
Now, okay, I've kind of heard what an angel is. What's an archangel? Do they have super special powers, or?
No, they have a welder with a line feeder, and everybody else has the old school welder. So they're the head arc welder. I don't know.
Well, actually, I think it's something like, angels don't actually have souls, but an archangel has a spirit and the potential for having free will.
Oh,
whereas angels are just like drones that have to do what God says.
That means they can't dance like James Brown? That's the only soul I've ever seen in my life. I still listen to James Brown to this very day.
I miss him. Did they finally bury him?
Yes, they finally buried him. I have to look that up now. That's a very good question.
As far as I know, I do not have any Hebrew in my genome.
Actually, I said this last week.
But it's possible.
It was funny when we found out that my grandmother's father was exiled from Spain for being Jewish, but because they didn't want, they wanted to occupy Mexico, so they exiled him to Mexico. But my grandmother was like hardcore Roman Catholic. She went to church every Sunday, literally up until the Sunday before she died at 99 years old.
Mark, I asked this of anyone who says they take the Bible literally. What do they think the odds were of them finding guys named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Middle East 2,000 years ago?
Yeah, they were not named that.
All I have to say is go there now and try to find someone named Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Go there now. And if they say their name is that, they're lying. It's almost laughable, the holes that you can poke in the Bible. I consider it mean-spirited nowadays. Like when people ask, like my brother challenged me and I destroyed him in 3 sentences. But I feel like it's just mean. So I've tried to keep my mouth shut. Every time I see my brother, he tells me I'm going to hell, and I'm like, dude, you're Catholic.
Yeah, I don't
Everybody's
get
going to
into
hell.
it unless somebody starts being really preachy in my face.
There was a guy who saw my patches and started screaming Romans at me, but that doesn't happen as much.
Well, if you wear any pagan symbols, you attract it.
Well, or if you're actually like TikTok this a couple weeks ago, because it happens to me at least once every couple of months, but this time it happened twice in the span of 2 weeks of just random Christians accosting me in the store. They'll ask me what's wrong because they see me walking with a cane. And oh, Jesus loves you and Jesus can heal you. And I just went on a whole rant about how it's fucking predatory to target disabled people with your fucking bullshit.
It is. They target people on walkers. Up at the ranch, we tell the people that live there, like, if you feel uncomfortable, tell these people to fuck off, because they'll see someone that's physically or mentally disabled and they'll follow them around. Jesus loves you, or let me pray for you.
I was literally at Publix, and the guy's in front of me in line, and he asked me what was wrong, and I gave the answer that I usually do of nerve condition. Street, and that sums up. And he was, do you mind if I pray? I'm an atheist. If you go for it, it's gonna do it. And he was like, I won't do it if you don't want me to. And I was like, thank you. I appreciate that you're pushing the issue. I spoke too soon because he followed me to my car in the parking lot.
That's creepy.
It really is. And so but kind of broke his brain a little bit because
you're junk shopping a lot.
Oh,
unfortunately.
That actually recently happened to me at Lowe's when I was buying all my paint supplies. Out of the blue, I think it's because I make people feel uncomfortable, but I was wearing an LADWP shirt, and so I'm with Isaiah, and I go to the counter, and the guy, first, I don't know, he was just intimidated. I'm not even gonna say why he was intimidated, but he starts going in like, oh, I'm gonna get a better job and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I told him like, bro, I'm in my 40s. Like, I have all I can afford all this because I'm an old man. Like, work hard, get there. I gave him the Kim Kardashian speech, which is bullshit. But my whole point is he started saying, oh, the Lord is my protector and blah, blah, blah. And I looked at him and I'm like, I said, we're atheists, because I speak for my son. I said, we're atheists. You can save the speech, man. Like, just live your life in peace. And he's like, my Lord is my protector. But it got really uncomfortable. Like, you effing work at Lowe's. Just scan my stuff and let me go home. Like,
so is this any better?
Yeah.
Yep. So far, much better.
Okay. So basically, I broke his brain by, talking about, well, why don't you believe? I was like, look, I did believe for a while, and I was like, but I couldn't contend with, the problem of evil. He's like, oh, well, evil is because of, the temptation of Adam and the fall of man. I was like, but can you really say that they did the wrong thing when they didn't have the knowledge of right from wrong before eating from the tree? And, I basically went on this whole thing about how essentially God just wanted, mentally deficient people to worship him with praise and love. And he was like, no, Adam was smart, he could name the animals. And I said, so can autistic 2-year-old. Like, that doesn't change anything. Like, that doesn't, you can't enter into a binding contract with a 4-year-old, and it's the same basic thing. I went off on this thing, and like his brain kind of broke because he just stood there like mouth agape for a little while after my little rant, and then he started on the same thing again, and then just kind of like it was a smile and nod thing, and I ended the conversation. And then the second time was I was waiting at the fabric counter at Walmart to get some fabric cut, and this woman she's walking towards me and goes down this aisle, and then she literally backs up and then turns to talk to me. And I called her out on it too. I was like, look, you saw my cane and you came over here to talk to me because you wanted to spread the good word of your religion because, you think that it might help me. And she's like, I didn't even see your cane. And I'm like, you did, because it was facing directly at you. You looked directly at me. Now, whether you consciously made that choice or not, that is beside the point. The fact of the matter is people like you prey on people like me.
Yes.
People who might be at the lowest point of their life, feeling like they don't live up to their family or societal expectations. Someone who might be in a lot of pain, very depressed, and you are preying on them. She didn't like that very much.
But that's part of the Christian MO, because I'm going to tell you, I was raised Roman Catholic. And even in the abortion clinic days when they would go and yell at people in front of abortion clinics, they never told us to go out and preach Catholicism ever. They said, live the example. And I still say that about your life. Like, don't talk about it, be about it. But, preaching Christians scare me. Proselytizing Christians scare me. Like someone following Kitty to their car. If you follow me to my car, I'm going to grab my tire iron. I'm from the city. Like, if you follow me to my car, I'm going to think something nefarious is going on. Or you better boop your car right next to mine so that I hear your car alarm. I don't know. Just like I was saying, I was in line and some guy started screaming Romans at me. To me, that's not very Christian. Maybe I'm from a different religion. I don't know. You know?
I think anyone, if you're following a person who's got a cane and you're not carrying stuff for them, that there's something creepy going on there.
Well,
what did he start screaming at you?
Romans. I have a patch that says we all believe in lies, and it's a cross with an eyeball in the middle of it. And I really don't wear that jacket anymore because I have Henry on the front. And it really would take off Christians. And quite honestly, like, I get less scruff from my fuck you patches. I have fuck you, I have enough friends, or fuck your feeling patches. People walk up to me, they're like, I love your vest. Every time I go somewhere, someone's like, I love your vest. When I wear my upside down crosses, people start screaming the Bible at me.
Well, there is the trend right now to say fuck you to Joe Biden. So anything middle finger is popular on both sides right now.
Yeah.
So that's the reason.
You know what? Like I'm a confrontational person to a certain extent, but I mind my own business. Like I habitually mind my own business. I would never walk up to somebody and be like, "Hey, have you heard the good news? You're free. You can free yourself. Don't believe in all those fairy tales." No, I'm not gonna waste my time.
Would it really fuck with Christians if I start wearing crosses orientated sideways?
Yeah, they'd ask you what for some reason, it's kind of like walking with your boobs out. Some people think it's permission to interact with you or touch you. When I wear patches, it's more for me and not for you. Because someone will walk up to me and be like, "What do your patches mean?" And I'm like, "I don't even know you. You could be a serial killer."
Just say, "I don't feel the need to explain my art to you, Warren."
No, but like I said, most
know what movie I just quoted?
No, what movie is that?
Empire Records.
Ah!
When the kid they caught shoplifting, he's like, "Who glued all these quarters to the floor?" "I don't need to explain my art to you, Warren."
like I said, most people, because I wear all my stuff, so most people just tell me like, "Oh, that shirt's awesome. I love what you're wearing," But where I live, most people dress like teenagers anyways. In LA, everyone's just trying to be young.
I say let people wear what they want.
It
doesn't matter. There is no outlandish. There is no over the top. You're covering
No.
your nudity. You've succeeded in
people
wearing clothes.
People must be controlled. Only I know what's the right thing to wear. Only I know what the right words are to say. Only I know who the right people are to fuck. You can't let people just have freedom. No way, man.
I was wondering where that was going.
Jeebus told me. Jeebus told me that.
Well, I will grant you that at least a significant portion of the population, if not the majority in the U.S., seem incapable of making adult decisions anymore.
I actually quietly judge people on that very fact that you just said right now, because for as irresponsible and as insane as I seem, I run a business and somehow haven't driven that or this house into the ground in the past 10 years.
Oh, well, you still got plenty of time.
Then you have people that sit on their ass and don't do anything, and they expect, and feel entitled to other people giving them money. And then, when they fucking self-destruct because they made poor choices, they then want to fucking go and throw up a flak wall of, I'm a victim here. Would you criticize a victim of rape or domestic violence? And that pisses me off.
I've heard a ton of really bad arguments lately, to the point where I've gone back to watching old British shows and making crazy shirts again. And I busted out my sewing machine that's unfixable, and I put it right in front of me because I will fix it. Because I'm so done with everything I've been hearing lately.
Like, I saw that on Twitter, like, when I was going to bed last night, and it really pissed me off. Like, not very much triggers me, but, somebody who feels entitled to other people's money, constantly doing, fundraisers that some have said are fraudulent, and then fucking comparing them having a falling out with somebody and them having made bad choices to like domestic violence. Like, it really, really pissed me off. Or accusing someone of a crime, for fucking contacting GoFundMe saying that they don't believe that the funds are going to what they thought they were going to, so they'd like a refund. And, then you put the person on blast for wanting said refund. Like, there's just so much fucking drama. And the world is fucking burning, and yet there's all this shit going on, and I don't fucking understand why.
A bunch of petty shit. People are worried about the petty stuff and
the petty or the non-existent stuff. Now, Will, you just mentioned going back to watching your British TV. Now, this is a good one, because like over here are filth right-wing newspapers, like making things up about the woke and all that shite. So I think it was the Daily Mail, surprise, surprise. Some dick wrote
garbage.
A full article, because Monty Python's Flying Circus is going to be on one of our channels, like for the first time in 30 whatever years, the full series. It hasn't been on yet.
Oh wow.
It hasn't been on, and yet he wrote a full article about how the woke
I'll be right back.
How it'll offend the woke. Hasn't been on yet.
That's like, I'm extremely woke, and I can take the job. I've watched all the racist stuff that's from your country. Because you know what, I look at it as something from that time, so I don't get offended. Especially most of the stuff I watched, the entire cast has passed away. Like Blake Seven, there's only the people from the last season are still alive. I've been watching After Henry with Prunella Scales. Only like one person is still alive from that show. Like, I don't get mad at people who are from the long dead, you know? At least I try not to.
You know, and I like the idea of them putting, you know, a disclaimer in front of some shows. You know, saying like, you know, these were attitudes of the time and such, and you know, I think that's good. The idea of like, you know, Warner Brothers never again showing certain cartoons they made, I don't like that, because even if it's something for kids, you know, that's a good opportunity to open a discussion that, yeah, this was the common attitude back then, but, you know, we progressed a bit, and this is why that's not acceptable now.
Absolutely.
You know, we
It's a
need to
wonderful
have
teaching
those
moment.
conversations.
How's it going, Lisa? Recently, really quick, Lisa had on a live stream, she had this young man who was saying biblically before every sentence, and it was gold. So you should go back in Lisa's channel. It was like a week or two. I was painting my house. I was having a bad day. I laughed so hard. I needed that in my life. I needed some whack job to come on Lisa's stream and say biblically. And I think he was a Kiwi. I can't tell the accents, but he literally said biblically before every sentence. It was like that Doctor Who character that said chant do before everything. It was awesome. It was awesome. He wasn't acting.
Wow, that's the thing.
I
But
died.
going to the point that Purple that she was making, like, yeah, I do think that we need to, you know, look at our history and our past and use them as teachable moments. Like, you know, put a disclaimer before fucking Gone with the Wind, or put a disclaimer before Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, which is incredibly problematic. You know, if no one has seen it, Seven Brides for Seven Brothers was a musical romantic comedy from, I think it was the 40s, but it was way back there. And basically, you have a woman who, she's a barkeep, and she's tired of like cooking and cleaning for a bunch of men, and she wants to get married. And so you have this guy Adam that, you know, proposes to her, and so she's like, I found my one man to take care of. And it was under false pretenses because he had 6 brothers that, you know, she was expected to very much Snow White for, you know, the cooking, the cleaning, the mending, and everything. But she's not like a wilting flower. Like, she does, like, you know, fucking, it was like, her portrayal was great. Like, that's my favorite part of the movie. But then, you know, all the boys are like, oh yeah, we want women too. We want brides. And so they go down to town and they start trying to woo the girls. And it doesn't quite work because they have competition. So then right before the frost, they decide, you know what? We're just going to go right into town and steal our brides like the Romans did. And they do just that. And they kidnap the women, and then they trigger an avalanche so that the townspeople can't come and save them. And so they spend the whole winter together, and then Stockholm syndrome ensues, and they all end up, you know, marrying their captors. To be fair, the woman, the first bride, I think her name's Millie, if I remember correctly. She, you know, she chose to get married to the guy, although it was false pretenses. She thought it was going to be the one and not a house full of men. But she made the guys sleep in the barn, and she said, no, the house is for the women because what you did is fucking terrible. So, like, it is called out, and then the guys do, like, when the spring thaw comes, feel bad, and they try to kidnap the women again to bring them back to town and right their wrong. But at this point, the women are already, like, infatuated with the guys. So, yeah,
Awful.
it's not great. It's not great.
You know what's so funny? I was watching Petticoat Junction yesterday, and I could only take 15 minutes of it. I don't think I could take that movie at all.
But yeah, it's called Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It's basically like another problematic movie that I actually like, and it's because there's a difference, is Overboard, the one with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. Because at that one, it's like at first, like he wasn't trying to take advantage of her. Like he pretended that he's no feminist icon or anything, but he pretended he had a back injury because she's like, "Oh, you're my husband, so like we're gonna sleep together," and he's like, "Nah, nah." And it was literally just a payback thing, and so he wasn't taking advantage of her for the fact that she was a woman. She was a cunt and cost him a lot of money when she refused to pay for services rendered. So like it was a payback thing, and like they do actually develop a genuine connection, but the movie's still problematic. It's just not as problematic, I think, as Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. Like there's shades of gray and varying degrees of problematicness, when it comes to old films.
Well, pretty much any of the rom-coms are really stalker films. Any of the romantic comedies are based on some guy just pestering a woman long enough that she gives up and gives in.
And where
Which
I live,
is called coercion and is considered rape.
And illegal where I live. Like if someone's like, "Hey, this person's pressuring me," you can literally get that person put in jail. That's why I say I live in lefty land.
I mean,
well, that's what I mean, that they're stalker films. In real life, the woman would get a restraining order against these guys.
Oh, hell yeah, in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. I mean, like, one thing that... Okay, so the Twilight films. I actually enjoyed the Twilight series. However, not because I think it is a romance. It's not. It is a psychological thriller, and when you spot the psychoses of all the different issues that all of the different characters have, it actually makes it much, much more enjoyable, where you realize that this isn't meant to be romantic. It's not meant to be a fairy tale. It is literally a psychological thriller nightmare. But to be fair, like the stuff that people say that Edward does that are fucking creepy and stalkerish are very similar to things that men do in rom-coms.
I only remember the first movie because I saw the other one, but I was extremely drunk when I saw the second one. So I don't remember the first one.
Yeah,
I mean,
I never saw
the last one was great because of one scene, and like it was in the book, and they didn't quite show it on screen, but vampire tooth cesarean section.
Oh, that just sounds awful.
If you read the books, Bella ends up pregnant with Edward's half vampire baby on their honeymoon. The pregnancy progresses very quickly. It is literally killing her. She has to start drinking blood because, the baby's requiring too much from her in order for her to be able to, like, survive. And then someone knocks over a glass and she goes to grab it and has a placental detachment. And so the baby literally starts trying to rip its way out of her as it's dying inside of her. And Edward injects her in the heart with his own venom and then uses his teeth to basically cut the baby out of her. That's actually in the book.
Groovy.
Oh, there goes lunch.
I mean, vampires don't really have hang-ups about bodily fluids.
Jenny,
one thing, vampire will always go down on you.
Is Jenny in the background?
Yeah, she's still connected.
Oh, sorry, I just saw the chat.
Oh. No, sorry.
I've only been waiting here like 10 minutes.
No, it's the way StreamYards is about this. I didn't realize that you weren't. It was hiding you under the toolbar.
It happens.
I'm redoing my house because I'm seriously thinking about moving out of this area at least. Maybe not out of California, but somewhere out in the middle of nowhere.
Somewhere inexpensive.
Good luck in California finding somewhere inexpensive.
Well, I want to sell while the property value is like unreal.
Yeah, because it's about to bottom out. Like the
Yeah.
fucking housing market is about to implode.
I want to sell it. Well, and if I don't, even if I rent it out to somebody, I still own the house outright. So
That was a great vampire movie, Commander 401. Fucking Dracula Dead
Yeah.
and Loving. It was fucking hilarious. I love Leslie Nielsen. Comedies aren't usually my thing. Like horror and thriller is more my bag, but there are some comedies that I really, really like. That one, and then was it, I want to say it was Blackula, but I can't, or maybe no, it was Vampire in Brooklyn with
Yeah.
Eddie
I've
Murphy.
seen that
Yep.
terrible.
I fucking loved it.
ass
I loved
movie.
it. I
I've-
loved it.
I've seen all of those terrible ass movies. I do. I love B movies. I'm a big fan. I'm a stan for Big Ass Spider, Rock Monster, all the remakes with what's that guy's name? For a while, every time a sci-fi movie would come out, the Sci-Fi Channel would make a remake of it with their crappy actors.
Will, do
Yeah.
you get the network name is This TV, either in broadcast or on cable in your area?
Yes.
They have kind of changed their format a little bit, and they are showing pretty much nothing but B and C movies, and they're so bad and it's so funny.
My dad and I used to watch those. We would like all the fucking B, C, D movies. We would just sit there and enjoy them. That and Twilight Zone marathons. Whenever there was a Twilight Zone marathon, my dad and I would curl up and watch it.
Between the Twilight Zone and The Simpsons, I stopped watching them because I feel like I've seen every episode. But I haven't seen The Simpsons in like 20 years, so I have some catching up to do.
Yeah, back in the
I've
days
never
before we
cared.
had cable, one of the local stations, from Thanksgiving Day through the whole weekend. So from like 9 o'clock Thursday morning until Sunday night, they would play a marathon of movies that had won the Golden Turkey Award.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm pretty much going to stop watching Twilight Zone because there was only one episode that I wanted to see again that I saw originally when I was a kid, and I wanted to see it again as an adult so I could, have it lodged in my brain and make sense. And I finally saw it on the last marathon they had in my area. So now I can give up on Twilight Zone.
But Surfman is probably one of my all-time favorite Twilight Zone episodes. That one and the guy with the glasses and the end of the world. Like everybody just
Bruce
wanted
Meredith.
to read the books. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that episode. And then the one with the masks, where the fucking guy that had the twats for relatives made them put on the masks, and I fucking love that one too.
Well,
That
one
one
of my
was
other
creepy.
favorites from that
And I
was
really hated the ones with Billy Mooney.
one of my other favorites from that was The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, where just like the power goes
yeah,
out.
the one where
this little community, they start freaking out that it's an alien invasion,
Yeah.
and they start turning on each other. And it turns out it was a government experiment that determined that, in the case of a federal emergency, isolated communities will survive for 16 minutes.
Have you guys ever seen the one where a flying saucer lands on what seems like somewhere out in the middle of the desert, and they there's people walking around and the flying saucer is flying around, and in the end of the episode you find out that the flying saucer is from Earth. Please tell me you've seen that one. And they're like, we're on a planet of giants, we thought we were on Earth.
Yep, I remember that one.
Oh, that one always gave me the creeps for some reason when I was a kid. Always.
Are you talking about the one where the two astronauts that were semi-stranded found a tiny civilization, and that they were the giants?
No, it's the opposite.
Oh, okay.
Well, back in the 60s, there was a whole series on that called Land of the Giants.
That's something I haven't seen. I got to add that in my repertoire. I'm not playing like, you know, I'm you know, whatever's gonna happen's gonna happen. So I'm fully tuned out. I have 2 sewing machines I'm working on. I'm working on like 4 different jackets right now. I've been watching nothing but crazy stuff. I'm rewatching Enterprise and Deep Space Nine at the same time.
I'm going to jump off for just a second to do something, and then I will be back.
Actually, Slim, I was going to say I think I need to wrap it up here because I just am running severely sleep deprived and not staying with it today.
Okay.
So, do you want to just, do your pitch and then you can take off?
Yeah. In an hour and a half, I'm doing a tattoo tour. So I'm going to be wearing my frilly panties, and I'm going to show off all of my body mods from my toes to my head. So if you want to see me half naked and maybe a ball will slip out, we'll see. Join me on that stream in an hour and a half.
That'll be interesting, but I'll have to catch a rerun.
Now, are you really going to wear frilly panties?
Yeah, I have black frilly panties that I'm going to wear.
Okay, I'll try to be there.
Yeah. I figured that would be the sexiest thing to wear while we tour my body. So
it's a riot.
Love a man solid enough in his masculinity to do something like that. Like, we stand that here.
Oh yeah,
He's a very secure guy.
Yeah, when I do fetish events, I definitely walk around just in the club in just frilly panties and a leather harness. So yeah.
Nice.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, Purple, for letting me on as always. So hopefully we'll see everybody on the other side.
Always good to have you here.
Good to have you. I love knowing you.
Make your show more.
Fun to hang out with you, kid.
Oh, by the way, Purple, I just double-checked the tracking, and it is registering now. So, like, it's on its way, but because of shipping delays, it might not be there till Monday.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
I didn't want to pay an extra $20 for overnight shipping.
Oh, no.
Because I didn't feel it was urgent enough for that.
It's not a rush. Oh, I got a gift from Skit's cat. From my Amazon wish list. Actually, they were for the cats. He got us a pair of fish that, they're like stuffed fish, but they've got a motor inside them, so they will flop around on the floor and, flip their tail and jump around.
Oh, that's adorable.
I still want to get Sammy the robotic fish that actually swim and, put them in the bathroom sink and see what he'd think of them.
I have those for my son for his baths.
Someone asked me if I'm Filipino. I won't out the person, but
tell him no, I'm Georgino.
Okay. So let's go around. Jenny, you have any last words?
No, just see the duck took up a hobby.
Yep.
That duck, be careful there, Ducky.
Yeah, Ducky's that's not good for you.
That's a heavy hobby. Oh, that's funny.
No, my schedule's like it always is. Tonight, show at 8:45 Eastern time. Strange showtime. And then tomorrow night at midnight, of course, we got your stream again.
Yep.
And Friday night I won't be going on movie night unless the panel starts saying stupid things, and I just can't help myself but intercede.
MST3K it?
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said, are you going to MST3K it? Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh, God, I would love to have that show on the air.
They brought it back a few times.
Okay, Kitty, you have any last words? Anything you want to plug?
Plugging? No, like Jenny pretty much got it. I don't really have any streams that I am going to be on. I do want to say that a bloody fucking miracle happened in that the Senate passed something unanimously, by unanimous consent, So it still needs to go to the House and then to Biden. But if everything goes according to plan, we will no longer have daylight savings time starting in November 2023.
Oh, really? I hadn't heard about that.
People
Yeah,
are
they
going to
just
be
did
real
it yesterday.
surprised.
Yes.
People are going to be real surprised at how dark it is, how long in the morning.
I'm okay with
But
that because daylight savings has already ruined my life. I'm a groggy
no, it
man.
actually it fucks people up. Like, not only
Yep.
does it contribute to worse seasonal depression, but like stroke and heart attack and car accident risks
Yep.
all go up when we change our clocks in the spring. So it was a miracle, like unanimous consent. They passed it in the Senate. I doubt it'll get held up in the House, because again, everybody was fine with it, even Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
So
Well, if it was unanimous consent, I doubt they'll find enough opposition to hold it up.
yeah.
You
So-
folks do realize, though, that in the morning, in the winter, it's going to be dark till 8:30, 9 a.m. in some places.
Yeah.
I live on the West Coast. You guys
Okay.
can all do what you got to do. It.
The reason that it wouldn't go into effect until November of 2023 is because trains and airlines have their schedules out about that far, and it gives them time to make the shift.
I've got no problem with it being dark in the morning. It'd be a hell of a lot better than it getting dark so early in the evening. Actually, afternoon here, because in the winter it gets dark at like 4 o'clock.
I get off work at 7 a.m. and I have to drive towards sunrise to get home. I have so many mornings that it sucks to try to drive when you're light sensitive, especially to sunlight, and you want to see what if the stoplight is red or green, and all you see is a blazing sun. So I wouldn't mind it being a little darker later. Because that's gonna probably cause a wreck someday.
I share Jenny's sense of impending doom on this one, because you're gonna be in for a shock, and you did try it once in the 70s, and it was a disaster.
I'm just saying that what I said, because people are not going to be happy with it once it gets engaged. They're not going to like having it dark that late in the morning.
No. It will end badly.
I was hoping that when they did it, they would take it back to astronomical noon, which would be the winter type time, so that when you're at noon, the sun is at its highest point in its arc.
How about we just make it socially acceptable to start your business at noon? Let's just all go on surfer time.
That'd be cool.
Everybody, just go on surfer time. Solve all this BS.
And that's yes, Mark. Yeah, that's definitely a thing.
Okay, we'll have to wrap up. Stock, you got anything else you want to say?
Less sun, people. Give me less sun. No, I don't know. Nothing you can do about it, but yeah, let's get rid of daylight savings time, please.
Well, the other reason I'm glad it's going away is because then we'll have far fewer people saying it wrong with putting an S on.
Yeah. I regressed accidentally just then. Yes.
How about you, Stool?
I was away for a little while there, so I'm guessing you're ending. I have nothing to say. This is my first time with real internet. I am now going to retreat and eat food and watch really crap British television. It is shit, but whatever. I'm not complaining.
So you got stable internet again? We should be seeing you around a bit more often?
Maybe, yes.
That's good.
Yes, and I will bore you all with my tales of how much I hate trains. Trains can fuck off.
You're British. You're supposed to love trains and hate airplanes.
So, fun fact, everybody who does tours at the LA Train Museum does have a fancy accent island accent. So, they're all from where you live.
Okay, well, go ahead, do your spiel.
How's it going? I'm Godless Sewing from the Godless Sewing channel. Go subscribe to the Godless Sewing channel. And you know what? Right now, I have a video out about a 103-year-old sewing machine. And instead of my usual rhetoric, I'm just going to say party naked. Godless Sewing, Godless Sewing.
Naked sewing.
Party sewing, party naked.
Okay.
I'm on my life's too short right now, so I'm going to be nothing but fun right now. Party naked.
And how is your clothes for nudists charity going?
Okay, Jenny was trying to get something in there.
No, I'm listening.
Okay.
They told me I can't wear my vest anymore, Doc. So I'm not in that organization anymore.
Oh, scandal.
Okay, well, Jenny already plugged for me for tomorrow night. And also, in addition, before B's stream tonight at 7 Central, I'm going to be on with Godless Granny and Mr. Bear discussing the effects of religion influencing politics. Not that I really have any authority on the subject, but, you know, we'll get on there and rant about it for a while.
Awesome.
So, with that, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters, Greg Hartwick, Ox, Robert X, Lavender Lady, Dog, and Jyuni the Apostate. Once again, it's, you know, I really appreciate that I was able to get this new headset to keep me on the air. And yeah, this one is a significant improvement over my old one. So appreciate all of you sending me a couple bucks a month and keeping me going. So with that said, we will see you all tomorrow night.
Rock out.
Good night, chat.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here, chat.